Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today it's another trying to fix video. Another video where I've bought something faulty off eBay and then I'm going to try and fix it. Now I say this in all the videos, but I'll say it again just in case you haven't seen these videos before. I am not an expert in these repairs, I am the exact opposite. So I like to take things apart, but it is not my profession and I haven't got any background, any teaching in it. But I have been taking things apart for a long time and I really do like seeing the inside of it, especially this one here. So I've had a sneaky look in here, so I know exactly what it is, but wait for this. It's from the 1980s. Ta-da! Look at that, a Radio Shack Armatron. And the idea is, I've never had one of these, but I think it's supposed to work like full motion round, knuckle here, wrist here, pincers here, and I believe these are supposed to swivel as well. All from these two little joysticks. So you've got two little joysticks here, and then you can also twist them as well. Now I'm thinking it's going to be hard to actually control, but if I can get it working, I think this one might be really interesting on the inside of it. These things here are just to mimic, I think it's like a pneumatic robot arm that you would get in a factory. So yeah, apparently it doesn't work, so we have to verify that to begin with. So let me pop some batteries in, see if it is or isn't working, and then I'll show you what I paid for this. So this thing takes D batteries, so the massive ones. Let's pop these in. Contacts are lovely and clean, so it's definitely not corrosion on here. Now I believe it's supposed to be completely dead. So let's see now. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, it certainly is completely dead. Give that a little wobble. Right, so we are going to have to take it apart, which is a good thing, because I think the inside of the... Oh, here we go. Here we go. It just started to work. No, it didn't. Right, well, it's not actually moving. It's not actually doing anything, so rather than force it, but at least there's something there. It sounds like the motor's definitely turning. Right, okay, that might not necessarily be a good thing, because I was thinking it might be more of a contact issue, but maybe it's more of a mechanical issue. Oh yeah, look, the arm's going. The arm's moving. But now it keeps stopping again, so it looks like it's getting stuck. But it's moving down. Now I'm going to have to, if I do get this working, I'm going to have to spend quite a lot of time learning how it works. That spins that way. Okay, so the right joystick looks like it is actually working, but the left one's not. When I twist it here, it's shutting off. And also, it doesn't look like the body's moving round. I'm just trying to see how you move the body around. Oh, spin. Now that's spinning the claw. Oh, it's gone again. Right, okay, well, we definitely had something. A bit worrying now how it's just completely gone. I hope I haven't burnt something out. No, can't smell anything. No, that's a little bit worrying how it's just suddenly stopped. Unless it's that power hungry on the batteries, it's unlikely. Right, okay, let's take this thing apart and see if we can find out what's going wrong with it. I also need to watch some sort of tutorial to work out exactly how this thing works, because I believe that this whole body should spin. In fact, you can see it's spinning now with no resistance, so maybe that cog or whatever it is, the gear is broken. Not sure. Well, okay, let's show you. I'm going to show you what I paid for it, and then we'll take it apart. Okay, so it was on a buy it now or best offer. There wasn't that many of these for sale in the UK, so I got it for £21 plus I had to pay postage. Now it was up for £21.99. I think I offered can't remember what I offered, £16 or £17, and then they came back with a counter offer of £21, and because there wasn't actually many for sale, I kind of had to go with that. So I paid £21, you can see it was up for £21.99, and £5.75, so £26.75 in total, and it just says here, Vintage Radio Shack Tandy, I thought it was Tomy, Armatron robotic arm, no power, and loads of pictures, and it just says, again it just says what it is there, and it says no power, any questions please ask. So there's very little information about it. Yeah, and obviously it's quite expensive, but then again maybe it's quite an expensive toy. When it was new, I presume they would have probably cost quite a bit, because things like this would have been expensive back then. I believe this came out in I think it was 1983 or 1984, but then other websites seem to say it's a toy from the 1970s and 1980s, but I think it's more realistic to be from the early 1980s. And it came out in different colours and stuff, but I think they were essentially the same thing. So I believe this is the first one. It's a kind of like bluish colour and grey, and then Tomy brought one out again. But as far as I know, this is... Oh, do you know what? It says Tandy there, doesn't it? Well, maybe this isn't one of the original ones then. I don't know. I thought it was Tomy that did this, and then Radio Shack sort of put their name to it or distributed it. So I'm not really sure about the background of it. But the idea of it was, I think in the original kit, you got things like cones and balls and stuff, and the idea was you were supposed to pick them up from this side and then bring them over to, for example, this side and place them on a little holdall. And it's just the skill of being able to use it. So I think when I was looking online about this, I was on some forum, and somebody was saying that they used to play chess with it, which is absolutely brilliant. Obviously, the other person playing chess against a person using this, it would probably drive them mad. But it's the skill of being able to control it properly like this. So I'm really looking forward to looking at the inside of this. On one of my other videos, somebody said that this is run from just one motor. And if that's the case, that is going to be amazing, because on the pinball game that I did, I was amazed that those 4 or 5 different things was run from one motor. But here we've got loads of different things. So open, close, twist here, move up and down here, knuckle here, and move around, and also up and down as well. So if all that is done from one motor, there must be some amazing mechanical stuff going on in here. So let's take this thing apart and see what's going on with it. Actually, just before taking it apart, I have just noticed that it says 0 here and reset. So, hold on now, energy level 50. Let's turn. There we go, it just counts down. Yeah, it's moving now. Okay, so obviously when that gets to 0, it shuts itself down. Oh, fine. So it's not the battery's run out, and there's not some intermittent fault with it. It's the fact that this was set to 0. I'm wondering if when the seller sold it, that maybe it wasn't all the way up here. Maybe they were just messing around with this and they had it on 0. Mind you, when I turned it on to begin with, it was dead, wasn't it? Unless I wiggled that by accident, I can't remember. Right, okay, let's take this thing apart. So initial impressions looks like it's not moving left and right, and it's not opening and closing. So they're the two things that's wrong. So to me now, I think this is going to have to be a mechanical issue rather than an electrical issue. So opening this up, it might not necessarily go back together again. It depends how complicated it's going to be. Now I'm wondering if that's the date code. I remember when I did another video on a Radio Shack boombox, that's the date code on that meant 7A4. So the middle thing was just a demarcation between the first number and the last number. And what it meant is it meant the seventh month, so that would be July, and 4 meant the year. But you didn't know whether it was going to be, for example, 74, 1984 or 1994, so you had to guess the decade. I would say in this one here, if that is the date code, I would say it would be July 1984. Oh, that's it. Right, okay. I've got to be careful because I don't want the whole thing just to spring apart on me. Wow. Right, okay. Right, luckily it didn't all fall apart. Look at that. Look at all the gears in there. This is definitely going to be an interesting one. Joysticks have a nice bit of corrosion on them. Right, what have we got here? Right, well I can definitely just see one motor here, unless there's more hidden away somewhere else. Oh, okay, so look, when you turn this round, when it gets to 0, hold on, that gets to 0, suppose that turns, there must be a place here where these two contacts don't meet, and that's what makes it stop working. Let me just see. There. I wonder would that be 0 there, black all the way across? Can you, oops, can you see they're not meeting there? I've got to be really careful because I don't know how these are going to go back together. Yeah, so they're not in contact with each other there. I don't think. Yeah, that one there when it's black all the way across. Right, so that makes sense there. So that basically breaks the contact to stop the power from the batteries going to the actual machine down here, I presume, because this is where you turn it on and off. Okay, so that bit makes sense. Now, obviously I have to work out why the pincer's not working, so I'm going to have to take this thing apart to work out that, I presume. But to begin with, the thing is I really don't have a clue what's going on here. So I think I am going to have to dismantle it a bit to see the workings of it, otherwise I'm not going to learn anything from it. So let's get in nice and close. I think the chances of me getting my head around this are pretty slim. Maybe I might be able to fix it, but am I going to understand it? I don't think so. I'm trying to work out what is even that bit for? What does that, what's the purpose of that bit? Okay, it clicks every time we get to about 55. Not sure. Okay, there's another screw down here hidden underneath the gears. Right, okay. The problem is you're really going to need to know your stuff with the gear in here, and I haven't got a clue what is going on. So it's just going to be a case of trying to put it back together the way that it came out. Wow, right, okay. Now, look at this. Oh my, right, look at the working in here. Look at that. Now, if you watch my pinball video, this looks very similar down here. Can you see there's little bits of plastic on here, and the orange bits here are stopping some of them from going around. So look, if this was here now, can you see this one's no longer moving round there? I want to make sure that it all is in its place so I can understand what's going on. Right, so yes, that stops it, and then when you move the joystick, how would you move the joystick there? I really need to take the joysticks off to be able to wiggle it around. Oh, okay, so this does one of the joystick movements because we have these little pins sticking out of them, don't we? So we should be able to work this out. So when it's down here, we can move it to the right, and that will free this one, and to the left. So if we move it to the right, oh, and then it stops here, so that's moving to the left, and then if we move it to the right, it hits this one. Right, okay, so I'm just going to work out this bit to begin with, and then hopefully I might be able to work out the gearing after that. That's when you twisting it counterclockwise and clockwise, so that frees up this one here to do its thing. So it can go that way until it hits that way, and then that way there, okay, and then that's the stop there. Right, got that. Same that one there. Right, okay, so it is actually a very similar thing to the pinball. Every time you move it, you're allowing certain ones of these to spin, or more than one, because remember, we can move them both at the same time. So actually, that does kind of make sense down here, and that's why it can all work off the one motor. And I'm thinking that all these gears here, well, this, so you've got the main gear coming off the motor here, and then it goes on to this kind of, is that a bevel gear there? So it's turning that motion into sideways motion, well, not sideways, sorry, 90-degree rotation here, and then it moves up to here via this one here, and this is for the counter, isn't it, this one here. Now these ones here don't have anything to do with the counter. These are to transfer it from, let's call them, I think somebody mentioned they were called planetary gears, because they're moving around the one gear. Because we have, for example, the gear in the middle here, and these are planet gears moving around it. So as they move around, they're going to be spinning around the main one. And then they're going to be moving things like here, which is then going to move. So for example, that's moving the worm wheel there, which is moving this one. When this one moves, it's moving this one here. So this one moves that one. This one moves the worm, which moves that. This one moves this little one here, which starts to move these middle ones here. So by me starting to understand it, I might now be able to find out what gear is responsible for the rotation left and right, and also for the pincers. That moves that one there. This moves that one there off at an angle, yeah? Moving this one. And this one's moving that one. Okay, so it looks like we have, forget about the timer here, because you know that appears to be working, and I'm not too interested in that. So we've got 1, 2. Oh, and they just sit in here, don't they, to stop them wiggling around the place, because obviously they need to be aligned, otherwise it's going to move off its axes. So these just keep it in place. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5. 6. So the one motor does 6 movements. Now I just want to double check that with the front here. Oh, they do come out. Excellent. Okay, so we've got 1. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. Okay, so we've got it now, because obviously when it's on the same axis, it's the same movement. It must be just the it just allows a different spin. Now, how does it allow the different spin? Let's see if we can work that out. So when you turn this on, I'm thinking, is the motor always spinning the same way? Or does it... No, the motor must always spin the same way, mustn't it? I think we need to put the batteries in, because I want to work out what makes it go one way and then flip the other way, because obviously these have to turn one way and then the other way, so we need to work that out, so that's quite important. So let's try and get the batteries back in. It's because the batteries are wanting to fall out all the time. Right, which way is it spinning to begin with? So it's spinning this way. I'm worried I'm going to strip the gears. I just want to know why, what causes it to spin the other way. So let's try and get that against here. I haven't got enough hands to do this, you see. You know, I'm worried I'm going to strip the gears if I do that. I don't think that's a good idea, because this is jumping around all over the place here, and I don't want to strip them. Try and get my head around this for a bit, and then I'll come back to the video if I work out what causes it to go one way than the other way. Okay, if I'm honest with you, I'm not too sure how it goes the other way. What I have noticed is, for example, when you twist it, it's not just moving this one here. Look, if I keep it like nice and together, can you see it's moving this one out as well? So it's actually causing two things to move. So these two go out this way, so that will allow the spinning off both of these. And the same on this one here. When I move this one and here are splaying out. So then it's going to allow these two to move. But I actually can't work out how this motion turns into spinning another way, because I can't, it's just all too wobbly, you know. I need to have it together to be able to see. But maybe if I can get it working, maybe it will be clear at the end. Now I'm just having a look here, and I'm not sure if that looks broken or not. That doesn't really look like a finished product, does it? I'm talking about this bit here. I wonder whether that's why it's not spinning, because that bit's broken off. I've got a feeling these are going to be one of those things that's easy to take apart but impossible to put back together. Right, let's have a look where that one goes to on here, because that might be why it's not spinning properly. So I'm thinking that shaft should be attached to here, which is probably, there you go, that's the one responsible for spinning the whole thing, isn't it? Look. So, wait a minute though, wait a minute. Yeah, look. This is like snap down there as well. If you can see that or not, but there's a crack. There you go. Right, maybe, I wonder if the wrong screw's been put in there and cause it to splay out, and then that stops it, because this is too hard to spin there. Let me turn it upside down, try to take that screw out. Right, okay, I didn't undo it, but I managed to push it out completely. So that doesn't look right, does it? What I'm thinking is that should be attached to here. In fact, it should. Look, it's snapped off there. Let's have a look now. Where should that go in? Yeah, look, there you go. It should be like that. I wonder if I'll be able to super glue that back in. But so why is it the whole thing has to swivel? And if the whole thing turns, or does the whole thing turn? Yeah, it has to, because this one here is fixed. Look, this one here is fixed, this big one here. So the weird thing is that this is screwed through to the bottom, but at the same time it has to be allowed to turn. So you think that it wouldn't have a screw in it. It should be like a little bearing or something, I would have thought. Let's see if I can undo this. Let me get some pliers. Is that the screw for here or not? And if it is, why did it split? I mean, this is the only one so far that's got a washer attached to it. I mean, I can see more ones with washers attached here, unless these are smaller diameter. Let me have a look here. Are they smaller or not? I don't think they are. No, they're the same. And that's the same as well. So basically the whole thing would have been turning, which just doesn't seem right. I mean, you can see the amount of work that's gone on here. Do you know what? I think I am just going to let it all come out and then take my chances that it's going to go back together again. That should be fun. There's so many people shouting at the screen now, no don't, you'll never get it back together. But I have faith. I have faith in myself. Famous last words. Right, let's put that back there now. So I don't think that's an option to have that turning all the time. It doesn't. So every time the thing turns, you're going to see the screw turning in here if you were to turn it upside down. I'm not sure, just plastic against metal like that, it doesn't seem right. But at the same time, we definitely know it's not spinning, don't we? And the only thing that looks like it's... This is like fixed to this cog here, which is fixed to this. It's all one piece. And then everything else turns inside it. So that says to me that this thing does turn in that screw at the bottom. Unless it was meant to be just nipped up just slightly, just to stop the arm from coming, you know, just to stop the arm from coming off. Would it come off? Well, it's not going to come off because it's attached to this, and this will screw to the bottom. So I'm not 100% sure why that thing is at the bottom like it is. That doesn't make sense to me. Right, okay, but I'm pretty sure that's why that's not working. So I'll have to see if it's possible to super glue that back on. And even if I do, I don't think it's going to be a strong fix at all. But let's take this bit apart now because we're going to have to get access to this anyhow. So there's a little screw here. If I undo this, let's see if the whole thing comes undone. This is the thing that I think we have to fix to enable the whole thing to turn. Okay, so left and right, swivel there, looks like it's this white one. Up and down, looks like it's the black one. I think the white one's just moving because I'm wobbling it slightly. Now what's responsible for opening and closing? Nothing at the moment. Okay. And then that's that, and what's up and down? Oops. Okay, let's not mess with up and down for the moment. Right, how am I now going to take this apart? Here we go. Right, oh wow, okay. Not so good that it's all just fallen out of the place. So this goes this side here, it looks like. Go there. Probably there. This looks like it goes in the middle. Maybe there. Oh no, this one. No, I don't know. Right, okay, this is going to be very hard to put together, and I still don't know what this thing here does. Or is it just to stop it overextending itself? Don't know. Right, so we've got 4 little gears here. Now I'm going to start spinning here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that all corresponds to these 4 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's 5. So which one? Which one's not doing anything? That's that one. One, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this white one here doesn't seem to be linked. Look, when I push that one up and turn that, it's not doing anything. Right, so it's these ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These ones here correspond to these ones here. Right. And we've got gears here as well. Now, unless there's another teardown online, I'm really going to struggle to put this back together, aren't I? Really going to struggle. We still have to work out why the claw's not working. I mean, if the claw doesn't work, really, it's the main thing. Even if the spin thing doesn't work because of this broken one here, you could still play it as a toy. But if the claw doesn't work, then really it does nothing because you can't pick anything up. So I would have had to take it apart to find out what was going on with it anyway. Also, I wanted to see how it works. So even if I can't get back together, as long as I learn from it, then then that's fine. Right, let's see if we can find out what's happening with the claw. Right, the claw is still not moving anything down here. There's no cogs moving when I do this. Which is weird. Okay, well, we've got this out now. So we're definitely dismantling it. Now we can concentrate on this. I think we should keep that in there. But the more I take it apart, the more I realise how complicated it is, and the more I realise that I'm really going to struggle getting it back together. But it is amazing to think that this is a toy. It's just fantastic. Look at the work that's gone into it, the designing that's gone into it. I thought the pinball was genius, but this is a different level. It's amazing that somebody or a team of people put this together. It's fantastic. Here we go, are you ready? Right, now that's better because it didn't all fall apart, so I'll have more chance now of getting this back together. Thing is, it doesn't seem to be a load of grease everywhere. I wonder how come it's not all grease, because you would think it would make it quieter if it was all greased. And it's nice that some of the gears and stuff are metal as well. The majority are plastic, but some are metal. Right, unfortunately this still doesn't explain why the claw's not working. Now I think I'm going to try to leave this intact, because, you know, I really do want to get it working, and if I take all this out, I'm never gonna be able to get that back together. So I have to find out what's happening with this claw, but it will probably all spring off. Let me put this temporarily back on. Try to keep it in its place. Okay, that's good, that's good. Right, now I can concentrate on this bit here to find out what's actually making it go in and out. There we go, it's the middle one, look. So now if I go anti or counterclockwise, can you see it's going in? Right, so that says to me that there's no broken linkage or anything. So that's closed, and now this way we'll open it. Right, so it's the middle one, so something's not happening with the middle one. Why is that?
the middle one is connected to this one here, which is connected to this one here. So I have to find out. So basically, middle one here connected to this, let's call it a bevel gear, and then connected to this one here. So I have to now trace this one into here. Oh no, it's all dropping out at me. Uh-oh. Oh no, 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 no. Can't get these all mixed up. Where's that one go? Oh god. Right. Take that out. Take that out. Those slots in there. That must go up top. Oh no, it's all gone. It's all gone. Right. This bottom one here is not behaving itself. Ah well, there it goes. Right, okay. Well, now I've come this far, I might as well take this off here to see what it looks like inside here. Okay, so it is just a worm gear that then goes onto one of these gears. This is interesting. That's only got teeth halfway, because obviously it only needs to go so far and then it has to slip, because, you know, otherwise I presume there's going to be too much strain on the motor. So it only allows it to go so far before there's no more gears, so it can't go any more. So that's fully open. That way it's going to be going closed. Right, okay, yeah. That makes sense. Right, okay, so that is it in pieces. So now I have to find out why this claw is not working. So I'm going to have to try to work my way back from here, going backwards, and to find out, you know, where it's skipping, or whether there's a broken gear or something's become misaligned or something like that. We need to put it back together, and we need to concentrate on this black one in the middle here, because it's this black one here that is actually controlling. It's all out of alignment, but look, can you see now it's opening? So this one here is the important one for us. Obviously they're all important, but this is the one that's not working. So let's try and get this back together. Now I'm wondering, have I come across any broken gears yet? Right, the biggest challenge to me now is the chances of getting this back together or not. My brain's gone completely blank about where they all went. Right, I think what I'm going to have to do is, because the video will probably go on for hours, I'm going to basically just be fast forwarding through it, because it's just a case of putting it back together again, and obviously working out what's happening with this middle one. But okay, it's not fully back together yet, but let's just see if the claw is going to work now when I turn this little black one here. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, but it's not smooth, it's clicking. It's definitely closing though. It's also spinning, that's just me spinning this white one next to it. Yeah, okay. I mean, it wasn't doing anything before and it is working now. Doesn't feel smooth, but maybe again because I haven't got it all screwed together still. Do the next piece now. take this bit out just to see what's going on with this one here. Let's put that to one side for a minute. I'm going to come back to that, take a break from that, because I'm not really sure why that's not going together. Okay, so remember that gear that didn't move these ones up here? That's to actually move the arm, the whole arm, up and down like that. Because you can see it's on the worm gear here, which is moving this one around, which is moving this around at the end. I thought that was plastic, but that's metal. Right, so I don't think we need to take anything apart there. It all looks to be in order. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, that appears to be working. Right, I was concentrating on putting that on there first, but I think it needs to be on here first. I think you need to build the gears around it. That's what I'm thinking. Right, okay, so that was the way to do it. You had to do the arm into this bit first, and now, so I did have the gears in the right location. Actually, so now I need to work out which one does the claw. The claw is done by this one, it looks like. This one here. So can you see how I'm just working my way back all the time? So now I think this one here does the claw. Yeah, I can see it opening. Right, so now let's put the lid back on and see if we can get the claw to work. So it's going to be this one on the far side, which is going to correspond to this one here. Let me just work out which one that is at the bottom. So it's this black one here next to the white one that doesn't actually move up and down. All the others move up and down. This one here. Oh, it's gone again. Right, well I'm turning that now and you can see the claws are opening. And now let's do it the other way. It's kind of hard because I have to push it up at the same time. Let's try it upside down. Right, it definitely opens okay. And yeah, it's closing, but still doesn't feel smooth at all. It's kind of jerking around the place. Well, everything else actually feels pretty smooth. Yeah, that's probably the problem. Yeah, look now, it's like it's skipping. Now, why is that? Because nothing's worn. Yeah, not sure. I don't want to say it's not going to work yet. But the thing is, I haven't found anything wrong with it. I haven't found that there's any teeth missing or anything like that. So maybe when I put it all together, it will all fit nicely into place. Okay, that's interesting now. Look at this one here. You see this one here Looks like this is the one for the claw, 'cause look at the claw. Yeah, but it's still clicking. Right, so maybe this worked beforehand, I don't know, or because it might be something further down that's not working. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to try and clean this up here and then try to glue this bit back on. But I'm not convinced about this bottom bit here. I don't think that's the original screw for it. I mean, should there even be a screw for it? Maybe this just fits into a locating hole here, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just like that. Maybe the screw was never meant to be put in there. I don't know. Maybe this is just like a pivot to spinning, which would make more sense. Right, I'm going to try and super glue it. I'm going to clean it with some IPA alcohol and a cotton bud to begin with. It feels nice because it's seated right where it should be. It was kind of a brake that went slightly at an angle, so when you spin it round it just slotted into place. I'm just going to apply pressure to this for a bit. Right, I'm going to leave that for about 10 or 15 minutes before I put the plastic welding on it. This is just one of these cheap kind of, you know, UV light type things, but it might help it just to kind of seal it around the edge there. It'd be no good for sealing inside two surfaces, but it's nice to seal around the edge. So what I'm going to do in the meantime now is I'm just going to start tidying things up a little bit, you know, just get rid of the dust from in here. So I've got a little wet wipe, and I'm just going to give everything a quick clean down. Basically, I'm just going to put a bead all the way around the bottom. I'm going to shine the light on it. Right, that feels pretty strong now. So obviously it's not going to be nearly as strong as it was when it was new, but you never know, it might hold. Right, so now we need to put this thing back together. Right, let's concentrate on this bottom bit now, see if we can get this back together. Okay, let's pop some batteries in and pop a few joysticks in just loose, and then see what's going to happen with it. Okay, so I'm going to have to shout over the noise of it. So when I go forward and back, you can see that one moving. When I go left and right, I can see this pink gear here moving. And when I spin it like this, I can see this middle one here moving. So that looks like that's working. Right, when I spin this one, I can't see anything happening. When I go up, I can see that moving and that moving. Left and right, I can see that moving. Right, let's turn this up a minute. So the left and right there, that was the claw, wasn't it? So maybe the problem's down here. Yeah, right, okay. Okay, right, we're down, I think. Right, let's turn it on again and see what happens. Oh, excellent. So it's spinning now. Hold on. Well, it span one way for a minute. Yes, the claws are working. Look. Look. Right, but it's still not moving left and right. But yet the claws are working. It's not working well. Right, they're working, so why is it not moving left and right? Doesn't sound great. Right, why is it not moving left and right? I think this pink gear needs to come up more. I think it's too low down. That's my opinion. This gear here, I think that needs to be pushed up a lot more. Because this is the one here that actually rotates the body, yeah? This one here. And if you have a look, this gear sits in it like that, yeah? Definitely doesn't go that way round. So this one sits in it like that there. So that means the pink thing has to be above this, and yet it's not, it's below it. So I think the pink gear needs to be right at the very top. I'll have to find out why it's not going up there. Right, let's dismantle this bit again. It seems to be on a spring. Why would it need to be on a spring? Right. That spins here. Don't know. I'm not sure about this one. I don't know why that needs to be on a spring. Is it to allow slippage so it doesn't, you know, when it's reached the end of its travel it can just keep on turning? So it wants to turn, but then it will allow, that's what it's for, isn't it? So it will turn like that, but then it will allow slippage. But look how easy it's turning now. So that says to me that that spring has gone, or maybe it's snapped or something, but there's not, I think there should be more tension there. I haven't got another one here to show, but that must be what it is. So this one's here, and then it's just going to keep on spinning when it's at the end of its travel. Maybe that's enough, just like that. Do you know what? I'll put it on there and see what it looks like. Well, I think I'll rest it there to begin with, and then I can always make adjustments after that, because it's more to do with the axle rather than the gear, because the gear has to just set against the bottom here, so it can't go any more down or up from there. Yeah, because if I push it more up, all that's going to happen is this axle is going to fall further down. That might be enough. might be it. That might be it. Look, it definitely, I think it looks higher up. Really, I suppose it has to be in line with maybe this outer one here. That will probably be the idea. Right, let's pop this back together. Right, it needs to be higher because it needs to clear this one here. It's nearly there, look. You can see it's nearly there, but it's just going to catch on that. It needs to be a couple of millimeters higher. Right, okay. That is definitely clearing it there, look. You can see there. Now let's try to get this arm back on and see what happens. No. Still not working. Still not working. Right, let's take this off. Let's turn it on again and see what's happening in here. I mean, this is definitely turning. The pink gear is turning. It's not fouling or anything else. Yeah, and when I put strain on it, it's powerful. Do you know what it could be? Down here, I reckon that this is a very tight fit, and when the screw was put in to begin with, it widened it up and maybe it was creating too much friction to be able to turn. Now, I did, you know where it was split, I did basically put a little bit of plastic weld on it, which might have then made it too thick to fit nicely in there and to allow it to turn properly. So let me try to take off that bit of plastic weld. Might need to get a bit of sandpaper for this. And that's why when I pulled it off there, it all came together at the same time, because this nozzle is probably a slight little bit too wide for the hole down there. Let's try it now that I've picked that little bit off. I might have to get sandpaper and take it off completely. Right, so now let's have a look, see if it does it now. No, but it wanted to. Yeah. Yeah, when I put a little bit of pressure on it down, it goes. Yeah, there we go. Look. Maybe I just need to screw it all together now. Let's try the hinge. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Let's stop messing around with it, let's screw it back together properly, and that might be all it needs. It just might need to be all tightened up, because remember, there's not a huge amount of room in between each of them. I just don't know now whether to fit the screw back in here or not, or if I should leave that out, because it still doesn't make sense to me for that to be screwed in the bottom. It just doesn't seem right at all. Worryingly, I seem to have 3 screws left over. Right, where do they go? Annoyingly, I thought I'd be able to do the whole thing without the soldering iron, but I've just broken that white wire there. Well, I found one of the screws down here, but I can't find the others. Right, so I've definitely got screws left over, which is really irritating. I hate it when I have screws left over. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to put into the back. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one here was the dodgy one that I'm unsure about. 2, 4, 6. This was the one that goes into the middle. Still unsure what to do with that one. But it means I've got 2 left over here. And yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. You know, I'm kind of tempted to take it apart again to find out where it could be, but I don't want to get too involved in the mechanisms up here. I'm wondering if it's when I took this middle bit out here. I'll take these 2 screws and see what's going on. Yes, I think I found it. Would it be here? Yeah, these 2 holes here. Brilliant. Right, okay. That's fine. Now, mind at ease, because that would just annoy me. Every time I turned this on, it would always I always be reminded that there'd be 2 screws missing, and I'd be wondering what they were for. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Well worth checking that out. Excellent. Let's tap this back onto here just to get it back on. There we go. Everything out of the way there, so now hopefully we can close this all up. Just going to use a bit of alcohol on here just to see if it will get rid of it. I tried using wet wipes, but it made no difference. Okay, it's made it slightly better, but there's still a lot of pitted corrosion on there. There we go, that's more like it, just a 1 screw left over, which is for this one here. Now, I may put it back in, because it's obviously definitely supposed to go there. I just want to see, first of all, if it is going to work without it. Well, I know it's going to work without it, but I mean, you know, then I can put it in bit by bit. Right, let's see now. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. And let's do the floor 1 minute. Let me swivel it round. I've forgotten how to swivel. There we go. Right, now let's do the floor. Yeah, close. Hey, okay, so it's not smooth on the opening and closing, but it is opening and closing. You can hear it clicking. Fantastic. I'm well happy with that. I'd like to know why it's kind of clicking like that though. There must be something that's not quite aligned properly somewhere. Right, let's now gently put this one back in, and I'm just going to basically just sort of nip it up just until it grips. I just want to see if it's going to make any difference. Right, let's just see if that's still going to work now. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tidy up, I'm going to bring this downstairs, and I'm going to practice for a while. And my goal is going to be to try and pick something up and place it somewhere else. So maybe I'm going to get, I quite like the idea of playing chess with this. What I want to do is just to make sure, I just want to see if it's on 0, whether it will work. Excellent, so that works as well. So that must be like a timer thing. So for example, the game might be to move 8 objects in however many minutes. Now I don't know how long the full power lasts. Obviously it says 55 here, but I'm doubtful that's going to be 55 minutes. Maybe this is a countdown from 10 minutes to nothing. But yeah, so that's it. I'm going to practice with this now, and then I'm going to end the video on me moving a chess piece around the place. Okay, here we have the knight, so I want to place it from the table onto the board in the correct position. I've been messing around with it. I've done it a few times, probably done it about 6 times. I've managed to do it 3 times. The other 3 times it just fell over or I knocked other pieces over. So problem is it takes me a long time, but I reckon once you got used to it, I think you would actually be able to get this set up, so you'd be pretty quick at it. It's quite intuitive. It's just that I've only had about a 15 minutes go on it, but I reckon if you spent a few days on it, then it would work pretty well. So here we go. Right, let's lift that back up again. Right, I managed to get the knight in the right place, but I managed to knock down this little pawn. So let's see if I can pick that up and put it back in the correct place. There you go, look at that. What a great toy and what a great piece of engineering. I thought that the pinball machine, the atomic pinball, was good by Tomy. This takes it to a different level. Now I thought the design of that last thing was genius, but this is, I can't even describe how amazing I think the inside of this thing is. And again, run from one motor, just to one motor, doing all these movements is absolutely amazing. So I'm really glad I did this one here. The problem I've got is that it wasn't a kind of fault that I definitely proved. I mean, the claw here, all I did was take apart and then it started to work. So I think the thing with that is it must have been a slight misalignment of the gears. They must have been somehow just slightly misaligned and it was causing it to crunch, because you remember the motor cut out every time I did it. You could feel it wanting to move and then it would seize up. And I think the definitely the left and right was to do with that pink gear that was too far down, so I had to push the pink gear back up and then that started to work. So for me, I prefer faults when I kind of see it, it's obvious, and I'm like, oh look, there's something broken or this thing's popped out of place. So with the claw, I didn't really prove what the fault was, and maybe if I use it again for another week or 2 weeks, the same thing might happen again. But I'm just hoping that maybe it was dropped, or over time it might have just moved slightly out of place and now it's back in place. But right now it is all working. This is a little bit jerky. You can see it kind of clicking when it moves. Also, sometimes with the movements, you do get the odd click rather than a smooth movement. But I reckon that even when it was brand new, it probably wasn't perfect, because it's just plastic gears and there's always going to be a little bit of play in various different ones. And as well as that, the timer's working as well. So that was set to, I think it was 50. And you can see now that throughout my playing it's been going down and down. So yeah, really happy with this one, and I think it was a nice fix. I'm glad it wasn't something simple just like the battery terminal. I'm glad I took it apart, and the main thing is I didn't actually put it back together by referring to my video. All I did was use trial and error. You've seen that every bit of this came apart, as far as I know. I don't think I left anything out, and just by putting each piece in the location, I was then able to work out what was what, which is how you can fault find an awful lot of things by just trying different things. So put something in its place, and if it doesn't look right, try another thing, because you've got to remember it's been designed a certain way and it's been designed for a piece to fit. So just by using simple trial and error, this thing actually got put back together. Now, a lot of people would be daunted by taking this thing apart, but yes, you need patience, but there's no real skill needed. It's just a case of using your eyes and thinking, well, does this fit here? If this fits here, what fits on top of it? And why is this a bit loose here? Try it here. Okay, it's a nice snug fit here, so it must fit here. And that's all I did with this one here. I've never taken one of these apart before. I've never had one of, but I managed to dismantle it completely and then put it back together. If I had have had grease, I think I would have put a bit of grease on the gears and it might have made it a little bit quieter. But just like the pinball machine, it's just as noisy as that one, so it would probably drive you mad after a while. But yeah, really, really, really happy with this one here. Hope you liked it too. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and please subscribe for more Trying to Fix videos. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye now.